Hello again, and welcome back, everybody, to another edition of the World Report. I am your World 2IC, and we're going to take a little bit of a break that we've been doing on our series with the Zombieland rules because I have been a little bit of a hiatus. I normally do the daily news reports, but I come across something and it really took a bunch of my attention. I tried to go back and I was writing down different notes and whatnot to go over different things, and I kept coming back and kept coming back, and so I want to do a whole show on just this topic, and then hopefully I will get back to the daily stuff as usual, as well as try not to interrupt the Zombieland rules. Real quick though, I do want to give a shout out. If you can see the shirt, this is the Dare shirt, Dare to Resist Your Government. So this comes from our friends over at SOE Tactical. So John Willis and Amanda and all of them over there, I want to say thank you. Amazing shirts. Continue to always support and all that. If you guys are interested in any of their stuff, it's always down in every single video. Just click the link, go check them out. But this one, I want to pop into a couple of things going on in Canada. And I know I'll probably get some pushback. We don't live in Canada. Why in the world would we care what's going on in Canada? Things like that. Well, here's what it is. Canada is our northern border, okay? They're our neighbor up to the north. Now, well, we have some subscribers that are from Canada. So if you guys are from Canada, if you know something on this subject, let me know. Send me an email, drop in the comments, whatever. But going into this, we are interconnected, okay? More now than we've ever been before. It's a domino effect that what happens here tears out into everybody. It's this whole ripple effect that just goes through. Everybody kind of has to go because the way that we're so interwoven with all the different economies and different supplies and resources, it all affects because the way that everybody depends on everybody else. And so when it comes to a supply and demand factor, just because the United States doesn't buy rice from China, there's only so much rice on the world market. And so if 5% of the rice gets dumped overboard, from an accident on the boat, that 5%'s got to come from somewhere. So if we buy our rice from, I don't know, Australia, um, you know, that 5% is going to need to be recovered. And so, maybe Australia will go, hey, America, we're only going to send you 3% of the rice because we got to send 2% over here to, cover some of their losses. So we're going to get less rice. That means that the demand is still there, but the supply is now down. There goes the prices. Okay. So what am I talking about? Well, there's two different things. The first one, I'm going to play a little bit of a clip to kind of introduce this. Now, real quick, kind of what I've done, because I hate doing these, but this one, it just feels right to do it. Don't own any rights to this whatsoever. We're just playing this for educational purposes and all that fun stuff. But here, watch this.
I'm sure you all understand the legalistic drawback to pre-crime methodology.
Here we go again.
Look, I'm not with the ACLU on this, Jeff. But let's not kid ourselves. We are arresting individuals who have broken no law.
But they will. The commission of the crime itself is absolute metaphysics. The pre-conks see the future, and they're never wrong.
But it's not the future if you stop it. Isn't that a fundamental paradox?
Yes, it is. You're talking about predetermination, which happens all the time. Why'd you catch that?
Because it was going to fall.
You're certain?
Yeah.
But it didn't fall. You caught it. The fact that you prevented it from happening doesn't change the fact that it was going to happen.
You ever get any false positives? Someone intends to kill his boss or his wife, but they never go through with it.
All right, so that right there is a small little excerpt from the movie Minority Report. Now, to tie that in, a couple of days ago up in Canada, there was a bill called Bill C-63, okay? And this is basically, it's been drafted and it's been first introduced, so it's still a pretty young bill, and it probably, unless it gets really fast tracked, which would be very interesting, but for going on a normal basis, this thing's very young, and it's going to take a while for it to mature and go through the processes. Now, they did go ahead and do a first reading of the bill, so they've done a couple of steps here. Now, the kind of purpose of this bill, if you will, is that its intent is to modify the current criminal code that they have. And what it'll do is basically create new hate crimes, and specifically into speech. And this is going to be verbal as well as written. So they're really going after social media hardcore. And this is going to be pretty big. Now, you and me, yes, I know that we're censored and throttled and everything on social media and whatnot, but we have the ability that you can walk down Main Street of whatever town you're in and you can voice your grievances. Now, granted, yes, there's certain things you can't do. You cannot go and yell fire in a crowded movie theater and things like that. You have to have common sense. But you, by the Constitution, are protected in free speech, that you are able to travel wherever you are to Washington, D.C., walk straight up to the White House, well, the gates of the White House, and hold up a sign that says, no, I don't like what you're doing. And there should be no repercussions of that. You have the freedom to be, to show discontent, to have a grievance with your government. It's a basic fundamental free speech law. I'm allowed to do it. I'm a free citizen. Now, if this passes, they will have, now they go through and they list out all these different things on what is going to be considered a quote unquote hate speech. But this is going to be pretty big because, one, the way that they loosely define a bunch of these examples is quite troublesome to me. It's going to kind of basically be up by interpretation. So basically, anything can almost be interpreted as hate speech. But if you go down through, now granted, just to make sure that we're on the same page, and I'm not trying to like over dramatize or get clicks or fear or anything like that, you would have to say something pretty clear cut as a hate speech. No, I'm not going to give an example of it, but you would have to say something really, really like you and I would just hear something like that and go, no, I don't believe there is no such thing as hate speech. Let's just cut that right there. Okay. There's no such thing. But to have something to where you say a certain line and just about everybody in the room kind of cringes, like, okay, you're obviously racist or whatever. For them, it's going to be whoever is sitting behind the judge's desk is going to be the one that interprets this. And there's two things on this. One, if you get caught on a really high offense or multiple offenses, they have it in there. You can get life in prison because of what you say. Now, if that doesn't make the hair on your arm stand up, the reason why I played that clip from the Minority Report is because they want to do pre-crime. They want to take algorithms and AI and different other monitoring people and things and look through your past to see if you are scaling up in order that they can predict that you will indeed commit a hate speech crime. Now, whether that is you're going to go and say something at work, whether you're going to say it through a text message or social media, a phone call, whatever it is, they have the ability to come and take you right then and there under pre-crime. Okay? Now, this is where we get into the opinion. This is a litmus test. Okay? Now, Canada was a huge testing grounds. I think a lot of people missed it. Things with the trucker strike that went on, the way that they went through and targeted bank accounts and different platforms such as the way that they were doing like GoFundMe and things like that. They targeted all that to see if they could do it. Not if they could get away with it, but if they could do it. Okay, remember, just because it's illegal for me to punch you in the face, if I punch you, that punch is done. It's done. It still hurts. Now I can get in trouble for it and there's recourse and things like that. But the fact of the matter is I landed that punch. Okay. It hurts. It's already there. It's done. And so they were trying to see if they could even do it in the first place. Who cares what the aftermath is? I just want to see if I can do it. And I think that's what it is. Now there's a bunch of other examples that they did. We can go through a huge laundry list, but that's not quite the purpose of this one. But I want to make you aware of that. So if you're interested, quick Google search or whatever search engine that you use, look up Canadian Bill C63. Now, I want to jump ship a little bit and talk about another Canadian bill. And this one is going to be Bill C372. Now, this one has been around for a little while. This one actually got brought up and it was tabled earlier this year. Okay, so it's going kind of back and forth. They're kind of revising and doing different things to this one. But this one is where things are again getting interesting. And I think it's interesting as well that they're kind of pushing these together. Okay, so it looks like they're trying to do it to either shove both of them through or sneak one through. But let me point this one out that this one, this C372, the intent is to restrict corporate advertising with anything that is against fossil fuels. Okay, or I'm sorry, that promotes fossil fuels. Okay, let's make sure I got that straight across because I messed that one up. So they don't want you to criticize green energy whatsoever. So if you promote fossil fuels, then they're going to call it an infraction. And in some of the cases, they're calling it felonies. So this one is supposed to be corporate, okay? But if you read down through it, it's for everybody. It doesn't matter if you're a business or individual private citizen or anything along those lines. It's so much so. Now, they were saying a lot of this is, if you go down and read through it, again, if you're interested, go Google it, C372, read down through it, it's all public. A lot of it comes in there to where what they're doing is they're saying, like, you can't promote something with like free gasoline or a voucher for 50 liters of fuel since we're in Canada, different things like that. And they give some examples and whatnot, but it also applies to everyday citizens. So if you was Canadian and this passes, if you was talking to a friend, if you were on social media, if you did it in a text message where you said something along the lines of, hey, fossil fuels are actually cheaper than green energy, you would be in trouble. If you said something along the lines of fossil fuels are more reliable than green renewable energy, you would be convicted, right? Well, not convicted. You'd be arrested. Let's put it that way. So let's say that you did that. You and your buddy is sitting there and you're out in public. Maybe you're having a burger or whatever. And the topic comes up and you go, no, you know what? No, fossil fuel, like talking about a car, fossil fuel is cheaper and way more reliable than all of this green energy stuff. Well, if somebody overhears that or whatever, and you get turned in, you would be detained. They would take you in and, prove that you did that. Now, if a company does this, okay, this is where this is interesting because this is all getting pushed publicly as this is a company, corporate thing. So if you read down kind of towards the bottom of this where it says here's the penalties, if a company breaks this law, their first offense, okay, they get $3,000 or up to $3,000. Okay, that's it. So a huge, major, multi-million dollar, whatever company, their first offense, they can get up to $3,000. Okay. So why am I concerned about this? Well, let's look down to see if you did it, the tax-paying, everyday, normal citizen. If you did the same exact thing on whatever that corporation did to where they got in trouble and had to pay up to $3,000, your first offense is $1.5 million and 2 years in jail. Okay? Did you catch all that? Company, $3,000. That's it. Pedestrian, just regular citizen, whatever, up to $1.5 million and up to 2 years in jail. Nobody probably up there has that. 99 point whatever percent doesn't have $1.5 million and 2 years of their life in order for them to say something that is factually true of renewable energy as of this right now with the current technology is not cheaper and is not reliable as fossil fuels will be. Okay, it's fact. Now, can it be in the future? Sure, it has the possibility of it. As of right now, no. There's no comparison whatsoever. So that was my concern. Now, here's the thing. If this passes the way it stands, not revised or anything along those lines, keep that in mind because it can be rewritten. If this passes the way that it goes, here's the thing. You and me don't have $1.5 million. If that comes down here to the US where they push that out, okay, most people, because they'll make an example out of a couple and they will push them. Here you go. I mean, just look at the J6 sort of stuff. They will push this. You'll get some people that are going to test the limit. They're going to go to Twitter or X or whatever, and they're going to say something. And what's going to happen is they're going to grab them. They're going to publicly just execute this right on national stage. It'll go across everywhere. $1.5 million, 2 years in jail, and you're going to see people. They're going to get real timid and they're going to back down. And that's the point of this. All you got to do is just put it way up here, and before you know it, you're going to wake up and it's 1984. Okay. So I just wanted to bring this to your attention. When I got wind of this and I started to read into this, and I literally, I have pages and pages of notes on this. We could talk about this for a long time. This is highly concerning. Now, it's not like monstrous, drop everything and all that. It's definitely something that has piqued me that I need to, or I felt obligated to really watch. Again, yeah, I get it. It's up in Canada. Yeah, I get it. A lot of these are still early bills. They're not even taken to a final vote or anything like that, but I want to see the process. I want to see what's leading up to this. I want to see who's bringing it, how they're bringing it, how they're talking about it, what's, the public's view. Is the public even aware of it? Just the different spins and takes and things like that. I want to see that because if this goes through and passes, it probably won't be long until it sneaks its way across the border into the United States and they try something along this line. They've been preaching green energy for a long time. We all know it. And so I really see something like this has the possibility of coming down here. And I, for one, do not like to have my rights trampled on. And I think it's really great that my shirt came in just in time for me to be able to talk about this, because when it comes to something where you are smashing on liberties, I think not only myself, but most of us need to dare to stand up and say, no, I have a constitutional, God-given right to voice my grievances, to say that I'm displeased, and it's not going to go down that way. If I want to say that, putting gasoline in my car instead of plugging it into a wall socket is cheaper and more reliable, I'm going to say it. Okay. So, all right. Before I go off onto a bunch of different tangent points and before I really go 3 hours probably on this topic, I just want to get it out there. Give you a little bit of my opinion, give you a little bit of background. If you want to go check it out, there's some different ones that you can go Google, do some different things and look into it. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, email me, drop down in the comments, do all the fun things, hit the like, subscribe, hit the bell for notification. We've got a lot of fun things going on and a lot of things that are coming to pass. And then also try and share some of the stuff out. I know some of the Zombieland stuff's been getting some really good reviews and whatnot, but try and share it out. I've got some different, see if I can there we go. Got some different things I've got set up. I'm still waiting on a few things in the mail and some other things, but I'm gearing up. We got some milestones we're getting ready to reach, and be doing some fun giveaways. And so one of them will be coming up pretty soon. That will be on mine. We're going to do it, and then the other one will be on if we can hit that 2,000 follower or 2,000 subscriber here on YouTube, which we're really close. I think we're only like 70 away or so. So share this out, get some people over, get some ones that think that they can utilize any of this information, and tell them to come hang out on Wednesdays and just have some fun and fellowship and do things like that. So with that, I'm going to be out of here. So I hope you guys have a really great Sunday. I hope you guys have a blessed week. I will be back tomorrow, hopefully with the rest of the Zombieland series, as well as Workshop Wednesday on the live stream, and who knows what else we're going to talk about. So with that, I just want to say stay tuned because there's more information definitely to come. And above all else, remember to remain united because we're all prepping in this together.